The graphic you see on the screen here shows there's three parts to the presentation. First, I'm going to show you how to take data, enter it into LinkWare Live, and set up a job. So you have things like cable types, what are your cable identifiers, what kind of testing do you want to do on that cabling, and so on. Then I'm going to hand it over to my buddy from Brady Corp, who's named Dustin Stump. He's going to do a demonstration of the app that lets you take the labels and the IDs out of the LinkWare Live cloud, which I'll have created, and then download them to the labelers and print out the labels. So you don't make any mistakes when you have to enter those IDs. Then third, we'll switch it back to me. I'll show you how you can run tests using the LinkWare Live data that we'll download into our Versive tester, and then we'll run the tests, we'll load it back up to the cloud and show you. So what we're showing you here is how you set up one database with your information. You can use it in multiple places and thereby reduce the number of errors you have, the possibility of entering labels wrong, and so on. I've spoken to a lot of installers who've told us that problems with labeling can really screw up a job. It adds a lot of extra time because the labels don't exactly match the customer specs. With what we'll show you here, you'll be able to prevent that problem. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to pull up my LinkWare Live screen. So let's see, here we go. There we go right there. So now LinkWare Live is a free application that you can get when you set up your account. You don't even have to own a Fluke Networks product, although you can't do too much with it without a Versive tester. And it allows you to set up all the tests as we talked about. You can even track the assets, see where your assets have been located and last used. You can generate reports. You can use it as a system to file all of your data from your reports and so on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up a new job or a new project. You can see here there's a couple of projects already here set up, but we want to show you how easy it is to set one up and create your IDs. So we're going to call this project, I don't know, what do we call it? Well, since you didn't use it, I can't resist. I'm going to call it Brady Bunch because that just seems very, very fitting, doesn't it? Perhaps you can hear my dog barking in the background. She's very excited about this. All right, so to set up a test, first off, we have to pick what type of media do we want to use. Well, we're going to start with copper. This is going to be a big job. It's going to have copper and fiber. You can see here I've got my different types of cable and the different test limits. Now I'm going to use category 6. We're going to use the category 6 limits from the TIA, and I have to give this a configuration name. This is my horizontal cabling, so I'll do that. And now we're ready to go set up the IDs. So it says, all right, we're going to do some Cat 6 installation. I want to know, what's the first ID? Well, in fact, I liked this one I set up last time, AF00-A00. And then I'm going to put in my last ID, which is going to be a little bit different. It'll be AF4, I think that's the building name or something, -02-C-09. Now the great thing about LinkWare Live, when I enter these IDs, it will automatically set up sequential IDs based on that. Now one thing you might notice here is there's also a button that says I can import my cable IDs. So if I set them up in Excel or something like that, I can import them here into LinkWare Live and also use them as well. All right, now where are my cable IDs showing up here? Push buttons. Probably still thinking about them. Takes a little while to create them. There we go. There we are. There's that first set. So it's a set of 90, I guess 91 different IDs from AF400A-00, AF402-C-09. After we run a test, you'll be able to see exactly what those look like, although if I wanted to, I could export those IDs now. So you can either pull them in from Excel or send them out to Excel or whatever else you want to do. But I want to add some more tests. So I'm going to add some more test setups here. So hold on, let's see. Test setups, new setup. And now I want to do some fiber as well. So we've got some vertical and some horizontal cabling here. Fiber, sure, OM3 multimode 50. We'll use the general tests with return loss of 35 dB or better. And we're going to call this, obviously, our vertical configuration. So I'll save that. And now we want to add some IDs to that. Where did I didn't get a chance to add my IDs? Let's see my test setup here. All right, I saved it.
Hey, Mark, don't you want that to be an OLTS and not an OTDR test?
Uh-oh. Thank you very much, Carolyn. That was very good. I don't have, no, I'm sorry. I do want it to be an OTDR test. Since we've been working from home, I have to use whatever equipment I have, and I only have an OTDR here. So we're going to use an OTDR to test these cables. But thanks for the suggestion anyway. I think that was normally it would be an OLTS, but in this case, I'll use an OTDR just because that's what I have. Okay, now I think I'm set up, but I'm still trying to remember how to find where to set those IDs. That was easy before. Now I seem to be having trouble. Oh, perhaps if I just clicked on cable IDs and results, that would solve the problem. Okay, I'm going to add some more cable IDs. And this one is for the vertical setting I've done. And we're going to call this, we're just going to go with something simple here, V01 through V09. All right, very good. Now, this one will probably take a little bit less time to set up, but give it a few seconds. And it's got to go out, go through the Comcast link and everything else, and then we'll be ready to roll. Hold on. Let's see, while I'm doing this, I don't know if I have anything else. I don't have any good jokes to tell you. Are there, Dustin, are there any cable ID jokes out there that I don't know about?
You used my only joke with the Brady Bunch before, sorry.
Oh, sorry, okay. And here we are, here's the setup. All right, so now imagine you're the project manager, you're back in the office, you've now set everything up. You're pretty much done at this point. Now it's time for the people in the field to take over and do their testing. You've got your IDs set, you've got your test types set up. And so what I'm going to do now is I am going to pass the ball over to Dustin so he can show us what is, what the next step would be, because the next thing we're going to want to do is start labeling those cables. So Dustin, why don't you show us how you access that data and how you get those labels and print them out for us.
Perfect. All right, well, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon if anyone's on the East Coast. Let me just quickly share my screen. All right, you should be able to see this. Mark, let me know if you can't see. You should on the left hand. Perfect. You should be able to see on the left-hand side, that is our Brady printer M611. It is a portable label printer. And then I have out on the table just a various amount of label materials. And then in my hand, I'll hold this up here, is my mobile device with our free Express Labels mobile application. I have it on an iPhone. If you have an Android, you have it available to you as well. On the right-hand side of my screen, let me move this guy. On the right-hand side of my screen, you're actually seeing a real-time image of that phone. So what I'm going to show you here, I'm going to go through this process slowly first, just to make sure everyone understands and follows the workflow. And then I'm going to do it a second time, real speed, to show you how fast this actually is for you. I should make a note here. What I have done is connected my phone already to this printer using Bluetooth technology. So if anyone has ever connected your phone maybe to your car, or you've connected your phone to a Bluetooth speaker, it's the exact same process. Very simple. I can go do it through my phone's device settings, connect to that device, and I'm ready to get going. Or I can actually add that connection through our mobile app. All right, so to begin, I'm going to, on the main screen of Express Labels, I'm going to choose what type of label I want to create. You see you have some options here: sleeve, a patch panel, flag, or wrap. In this case, I'm going to assume that we're creating some labels for some Cat6 cables. So I'm going to tap cable wrap. Now immediately you'll see in the background in that gray is an image of what that label part looks like, but we have the keyboard already up because it's waiting now for you to enter your data onto your label. On the top, you'll see a blue menu bar. So right up here, you see keyboard is selected. You have date time, sequence if you want to add sequence of data, and then the fourth icon there is a spreadsheet. So I'm going to tap the spreadsheet, and it's going to ask me where is your spreadsheet located. In this case, I'll say LinkWare. I've already logged in using my LinkWare Live account, and so I don't have to re-enter my password each time. It automatically is syncing. I'm going to go into the Brady Corp, and here you're going to find the Brady Bunch project that Mark set up. I tap that one more time. He set up, remember, both horizontal Cat6 and I believe vertical fiber. I'm going to do the horizontal, and then now I see my label file, or sorry, my data set. You can even see the sequence that he had entered for those labels, as well as the total number of labels I'm going to create. There's 90 in parentheses there. I'll tap that. And now before I apply all that information to my labels, it's going to ask me whether I want to modify what I'm pulling in. So right now, I am pulling in the full set of data, 1 through 90. Just for this example, I'll show you that I can actually pull down a smaller amount. I'll do 30 here. And when I'm ready, I just tap the gray area in the background. The next thing that you'll see is the tray popped up from the bottom of the screen, bottom of the phone, allowing me to format this text. So if I want to bold it, italicize it, underline it, I can do any of those. I can also change paragraph. So I can vertical alignment or horizontal align the text. And then object, I have this set in wire marker mode so that text is repeating. If I turned it off, it would just be a single line of text. I'm just going to go back here. And one thing I like to do is set it to autofit. That just makes sure that the data is not going to get cut off when you're ready to print. So now I'm done here. All I'm going to do is tap this gray area in the back because that'll hide my properties. And now on the bottom of the screen, you'll see as I'm scrolling, I have all of the labels that I want to import. I'm going to click the print icon. Here I have real-time information from my printer showing that I'm connected. It says it's ready, which means the material matches the label I'm creating. I get all this information on how much part is remaining, how much of my ribbon is remaining, what's my battery, I'm connected to Bluetooth, right? All these different settings, as well as what do I want to print. I promised Mark I would not print 30 different labels. So instead, we'll just print 3 out just for the sake of the demo. Now you'll see the labels 1 through 3. I can hit print, and it's going to send that print job to the printer. Real time here, you can see that we're getting it printed. Now I have in here die cut material. So you see kind of some gap in the printing. The reason is, let me fold this off the screen quick, is that this is actually set up as what we call a self-laminating label. So the white area is printable, you apply that to the cable, and then the clear is an actual overlam that wraps atop of it and it protects that ink. So again, this is just a sample type of label I'm showing you today. A variety of other label options that we can talk about as well. So now I'm going to run through that one more time, but I'm going to not go as slow. So I'm back to the front. Again, imagine yourself, you're out at the job site. I am with you, right? We have a Versive cable tester next to us. We have installed the Ethernet cabling. Now we're ready to print our labels. I'll tap cable wrap, spreadsheet, LinkWare Live, select my company, Brady Corp, select my project, Brady Bunch, horizontal cables, data, apply, format, print labels 1 through, well, let's just say 5. And now I print as soon as it lets me print. Of course, now it's not. Of course, I can't get through everything perfect, right? I can also get a real-time preview. So here's your real-time preview of the labels. I don't know why it's not let. Hey, here we go. Now it's sent the job to the printer.
I think sometimes we just get impatient.
And there we have our 3 labels. So again, I sped it up for you. That's just one particular example. If I wanted now to switch over to printing labels for that fiber, I would probably put in a different label material. These are what we call T flags. I can pop open the cover. We have separate ribbon roll materials. Pop this material out, pop the new material in, and then for my mobile phone, I'm able to go through that exact same process, but using the cable flags. Here it's telling me, hey, I can't create a flag because you have the wrong part that's installed. So there's smarts where we're able to actually detect what material we have installed in the printer to make sure that you're not printing invalid labels that's going to cause rework. So, Mark, I'm going to switch it back over to you, and we'll cover it from the Versive tester.
Thank you, Dustin. So you could, just one question, by the way, that popped up is you could print out, say, multiple types of labels from that same database, right? You could print out, say, the ones that go on the patch panel and then the ones that also, say, wrap around the cable from that same database then, correct?
Absolutely. So depending on the type of label that you want to print, you can do the patch panels, you can do the flags, you can do the cables, you can do sleeves. You can even, if you need to create a one-off label that does not have data in LinkWare Live, I can use the mobile application and create a label ad hoc as needed as well.
All right. Well, thanks. We'll get to some other questions later. But in the meantime, I thought let's show you the third part now. So Dustin just finished printing off the labels. Everything's labeled. It's time to start testing it. Now, I don't have a fancy camera like Dustin has, but I do have the ability to show my OptiFiber or Versive display here on the screen. You can see it right here dancing around and so on and so forth. So now, as you can see, I'm working on a different project right now, but I'm out there and I've got to start working on the Brady Bunch project. How do I do that? Well, I've connected my tester to Wi-Fi. Now, you could do that to the on-site Wi-Fi. Maybe you've got a hotspot in your phone, but in some way you've connected to Wi-Fi and then I logged into my account. Basically the same login credentials that we use on LinkWare Live, in the Brady app, I also use on my Versive tester. And at this point, all I need to do here is touch the sync button. I'm going to touch the sync button. It's going to connect. And now it's looking for, okay, what projects are out there that I need to download? Now you can see there's a number of different projects that we've been working on. But the one I want to work on here, oh, that's not the right. Oh yeah, is that the right one? Or is it? No, it's a Brady Corp. See, you can actually you can set this up. There's a lot of sophistication here. I can actually have projects working under different groups, or I forget the exact name they use for that. Sub-projects, you can have different groups, organizations, thank you. And so this is the InstallTech organization that is part of one company, but I may be working on jobs for other companies. So for example, I'm a subcontractor. I can also access these jobs from Brady Corp. So I could access any of these jobs that I want, but the ones I want are from Brady Corp. Just to let you in on a little secret, I didn't know I was going to be doing this Brady Corp thing until Dustin and I were on the phone about 5 minutes before we started. So I switched, I logged into the different account, and now I'm accessing his Brady Bunch. And you can see, if you remember, the small, medium, and large jobs that were there as well. But I want the Brady Bunch job. When I hit sync, my tester will now go out to the cloud, to LinkWare Live, and pull down that project information. It doesn't really take very long. So I hit OK. Now, I'm still on the same project I had before. I need to change that. So I touch there. I touch on the bottom where it says Change Project. And it says, well, which project do you want to do? Ah, there it is, Brady Bunch. Let's pull that in. Now, if you remember, we had a couple of different test setups. We had a Cat6 permanent link with a number of cable ID sets. And we're going to pick that one and say, that's the project I want to use. So I'm going to go back to the Brady Bunch project. Let's see. What happened here? Brady Bunch. Did I pick the wrong Brady? Or what happened here?
You picked the wrong Brady Bunch, Mark. You
I
picked
think
the
I
one
picked-
from Install Tech and not from Brady Corp.
I think that's what happened, didn't I? Yeah, so let's go back down to Brady Corp. I need to go back home. So this is what happens when you do live demos. I need to sync. A few seconds so it finds all those projects. I'm going to leave that one on, make sure that one's off, and now let's sync it. Now, I may have been a little too clever by half by calling two projects on two different accounts the same name. But nope, this is the correct Brady Bunch right here. I look here because you can see I have an OTDR test and a Cat6a permanent link test. One thing about Versiv and LinkWare Live is it only shows you the setups for the job you're working on. For those of you who don't know, but you probably mostly know, there are about 400 or 500 different configurations I can set my Versiv up for when it comes to testing. But when I get to a particular job, it just shows me the ones that the project manager or the person who set up the tester used for that job. So I only see those two. Pretty hard to make a mistake when you got Cat6a and you got fiber. Pretty hard to guess the wrong thing. So I'm going to use the auto OTDR. Now I'm ready to run a test. Now I'll warn you, unfortunately, I don't have actually a fiber attached to this. So I'm going to run the test and it's going to go out and make a real effort and tell me that my port connection quality is poor because there's no cable connected, and eventually it's going to fail. So I have a failed result, but I'm going to save that anyway. All right. Now I think that, yeah, that's the V01 result. Let's see, just for fun, I'm going to run another test. And let's see, it should have automatically incremented to 02. Yes, as you can see in the upper left corner there, it says 02. And it's giving me all these warning messages because it doesn't think that anybody would be dumb enough to actually run a test with no fiber connected. But that's what you get when you get me. Now I'm going to go back home. I finished those two tests, and I'm going to sync them. Now, once again, it's going to go back out to the cloud, take those test results, and give me an opportunity to upload them. So it says there's the Brady Corp with the Brady Bunch. I want to sync that. And now it will send my obviously very foolish results up to the cloud, and we should be able to see them. And on, there my sync is completed. Now we'll just move this window out of the way. And let's look at our results. Now this hasn't updated. I'm going to speed things up a little bit by hitting refresh. Now, it takes a few seconds for things to sync up, as you know, out there in the real world. But it's not there yet. I may have to dig into my set of Versiv jokes to see if I can keep you guys amused while we're waiting for this. I did synchronize it. It did go out. It says they're there. Once again, this is what happens when you do live demonstrations. I'm going to go back and check and make sure I did not sync the wrong one. So I'm going to sneak this screen back up here again. Okay, there's the Brady Corp, Brady Bunch. That is the one. Yeah, I'm getting a question. Okay, did I pick the wrong one? Which one has the result? This is the Brady bunch, which is under Brady Corp. So I am syncing the right one. It's just taking a while for it to show up here in the cloud. And there they are. Okay. Like I said, you get a little impatient. You know, typically you're not looking over the shoulder of the person while they're testing and waiting to see what happened. But here are the test results. And if I just click on this, we can see here are my 2 failed test results. When I ran them, here's the IDs they're on. I can click here and I can see the results in more detail. There we are. Oh, do we have a graph? Oh, look at that. For you people who love to look at your OTDR traces, we've got that. It's a pretty ugly graph, but what do you expect? There's no fiber connected. And here's all the details, how it failed, and so on and so forth. And in fact, if I really wanted to get a little wild, I could go back here, back to the results, and say I could then generate a report very quickly and easily from here. But I guess I won't do that because they're kind of bad. Well, why not? Go back here, we click Generate Report. Now it says here it takes about 10 minutes. Once again, you can't be impatient. Maybe at the end, it will tell me, oh, actually, Dustin, you're going to get the email because it's going to send it to Brady Corp. So if you happen to see it, that's great. But just to let you know, we've now seen, we've taken you through the entire process all the way around, set it up, downloaded, created the labels, done the testing, and sent it back, and now we're ready to generate the report. So with that, let's look and see if we have any questions. Oh, I'm going to skip ahead to this really cool screen here, where for those of you who want to get a free LinkWare Live account or learn more about Brady printers, you can just hold your phone up there or go to these clever little URLs we've set up. So let's see what we've got in the Q&A department. So Carolyn, have you seen any questions so far?
So I guess one of the questions was, can they have different types of labels? Like if they wanted a flag label for their fiber and they wanted a wrap label for their copper, you can just change the supply. They were wondering how you would do that on the labeler and if you can make that type of a change.
Yes, you can absolutely do that. I don't have a separate roll of material in here, but if you can make me presenter really quick, Mark, I'll at least
I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah, I can demonstrate how to pop out the material, and you'll see what it looks like when I reload the same material. So as soon as I'm presenter, we're building suspense for everyone. And like I mentioned, we support flag material, continuous material, sleeves, self-laminating, wraps, a variety of die cuts. So any of the label material that you need, we'll be able to support it. So what I'm going to do is on top of this printer, I'm going to pop the cover open. On the side, you have a separate ribbon. So I'll take that out to show you. So this is actually the color that's going to get placed onto the label. So even if you wanted to change ink colors, you could.
Oh, cool.
On the top, you have this material. All I'm going to do is pull up, and it pops right out. On the side, we have a smart chip. This is what tells the printer and ultimately tells my phone what's the material that's installed. And again, I don't have a different roll, but let's just assume now that this is my flag roll in my hands. I would drop that into the printer. It clicked in place. If I needed to widen this, I could using these thumb grips. I'm going to put my ribbon back in on the side of the printer. I'm going to lock it on the front side, on the center. I'm just slowly pushing this in until there's just a little bit of a pressure. On the screen, you'll see, you won't be able to read that. It says the supply door is open. I'm going to click OK. I hit the feed button, close it, and we're ready to go. If there was any issues with that install, that ready message would be some sort of an error message. and that same error message I would get on my mobile application. So that's how to really quickly swap in and out that material.
Nice.
Okay, Dustin. Hey, since we're talking about labelers, we got a question about the labeling, which is how large a core does the M611 support?
The M611 will print up to a 2-inch print width, and I want to say a couple of feet that you could print continuous if you ever needed to.
Okay. Very good. By the way, and another questions have come in. They've asked about the other labelers that were on that screen I was showing at the beginning. Is there anything you want to say about those as compared to the model you're showing right there, the 611?
Yeah, so you did see initially Mark had showed there was 2 other printers that were displayed. So this model is very unique. You'll notice right there is no keyboard. It is 100% what we call a connected printer. So I can connect it through USB or Wi-Fi to a laptop and print to it, or I can take it out into a field, out onto my job site and print from a mobile phone or a tablet. However, we also have 2 other printer models. One of them, BMP61, I don't have that with me right now, is a similar size printer. It runs all the exact same material, and it also has some connectivity built into it. It has what we call Wi-Fi Direct. So I'm actually able to connect from my phone to that printer using the Wi-Fi Direct, print from my mobile phone, or print using the keypad. The Wi-Fi Direct, however, is not near as good of a connection experience as what you'd have with your Bluetooth. For example, I have my phone connected to my Wi-Fi network here at work. I didn't have to disconnect from that to join and connect to that printer with Bluetooth. And with Bluetooth, I'm actually able to connect multiple people to it at the same time. So you could have multiple people at a job site, 2 different phones connected to that printer. With the 61, it's a 1-to-1 connection.
Well, that's interesting. That's really efficient then. If you got multiple people working on a project, they can be using the same labeler.
Correct. We like to say with the M611, it gives you the flexibility in where and how you print your labels. So if you wanted to print all of your labels at the office or at the shop before you went out to the job site, you can do that. Connect the printer to your laptop. I could even export all of that same label data out of LinkWare Live, import it using the desktop software, and then print the labels in advance. Or at the job site, as we demonstrated today, I can pull down those label files from my mobile phone. So it's really, really flexible. And what we see a lot of times with datacom and even electrical contractors is you don't know what your next job is going to look like. You don't know how far away it is. You don't know how big the project is. And sometimes it's hard to quickly react. And you don't want to be driving from a job site back to the office repeatedly to grab large sets of labels. You know, when you're talking 90 labels to hundreds of labels, it's so much more efficient to be able to do that right there at the job site.
All right, very good. We got a question. This is going to be on our side, so I'm going to switch it back to my display here. And the question I got is, let's see. Let's see. First, I gotta click a bunch of things to make me the presenter again. But the question I got was around the issue of, let's say you are out there, you've labeled things, and then you've had a failure. And the question is, you know, how do you go about fixing those failures? Is there a way to flag that so it's easy? Well, first off, when I run the test, in fact, let's just go ahead and we can go back here to this project that I'm running. You can see my screen here. I want to run a test, and once again, it's automatically incrementing to the next test, which I guess this will be A03, I think it was. Sorry, V03. And I failed. Now, one of the things you can do right now is it's told you it's failed. If you want to just test the same one again, you could do your fixes right then, and you could say test again, and it'll test it again. Of course, I didn't fix anything, so it's going to fail again. And it's just making sure, do you want to overwrite this one that you just did? I'll say yes. So we'll go on there and so on. So there's my bad result. The other thing, though, I could show you is, as the user, if I go back, I can look at the results of the tests on the tester as well. So you can see right there, it shows me that 0 passed, that's the green check mark, and 3 failed. And I can go back and look at exactly which ones failed. And in fact, it will sort them into groups of the failed ones and the passed ones. Because hopefully the vast majority of them are passed, but at the end of the list, or at the beginning of the list, you'll see the ones that have failed. And you can go back and then do a retest on those very, very easily. You can see once again, the test again button has shown up here. So I could do that. If I wait till they get back to the office, obviously, then it's a matter of being able to see them there and telling the user, well, look, go and look on your tester, or maybe another person who comes in, they can look at the results and see which one have failed, and then go back and overwrite those failed test results with the new test results for that particular link. So there's a lot of flexibility. The way the project management and the tester works makes it easy to do that kind of thing. So I hope that answered that question there. All right, what other questions? I think there were a few more that had come back in as well. Oh, that's what they wanted to see. That's great. Let me see in the chat window if there's any questions, but I think we covered pretty much everything that has come up so far.
There's one other question I see from Randy talking about, can multiple laptops also connect via Bluetooth? So if a laptop has Bluetooth connectivity, you should be able to connect to the Brady printer. It's not something that we've tested thoroughly. So I can say with confidence, you can have 2 concurrent users with a mobile phone or tablets. I'd have to check further with the laptop, but Randy, we can definitely get back to you on that as well.
Great. All right. Well, on behalf of Dustin from Brady Corp and myself, Mark Mullins, and our hidden guest, Carolyn Carter, who is the product manager for the Versive family, I'd like to thank all of you for coming and taking part in today's event. Once again, if you have an interest in getting a free account, you can visit the LinkWare Live site, set it up, try it out. You can learn more about Brady printers and how they work with LinkWare Live by visiting the URL here. And of course, you can just reach out to our company, either one of the companies, if you have any questions, myself or Dustin as well. You can go to info@flukenetworks.com for any questions. And where would they go for Brady, Dustin?
I would recommend going to bradyid.com/M611 if you want to learn further about the M611 printer, or bradyid.com/Fluke-affiliation, and we talk a lot about that integration between our printers and the Fluke LinkWare Live software.
All right, fantastic. Well, thanks again for joining us, and have yourself a great day.